Su Mufeng's appointment to the city S was announced to everyone. Everyone except me, his fiancé. Because he despised me for being foolish and thought I was always pestering him. This promotion is all thanks to the recommendation of Senior Su from City X. I must visit and thank him personally. Xu Yingying? No need to tell her. She's like a dog that would sniff her way to City S on her own. I overheard this and went back, excitedly packing my little floral bag. In the past, he always left me behind, but this time, I decided to go to City S ahead of him. When Su Mufeng arrives in City S and sees how clever I am, he'll surely be surprised. But the next day, when the boatman asked me where I was headed, I scratched my head, unable to remember. Was it City S? City X? Or City Y? The boatman, impatient, dug his finger in his ear, ready to push me aside. Afraid he'd scold me like Su Mufeng, I quickly handed over some silver and nodded eagerly. City X, yes, it's City X. Ding! This novel reminds you to click the subscribe button in the bottom right corner to read the complete novel. Afraid the boatman would throw me off, I sat in the corner, clutching my little floral bag tightly. As the boat left the shore, the sunset, red as a duck egg, reflected on the water. And the ripples looked like scattered gold. It was so beautiful that I stopped working on the knot in my hands. There were laborers on the boat, enjoying a plate of 5-spice edamame with their wine. Sitting by the stove and chatting leisurely. Our magistrate in City X, Lord Su, still hasn't married. It's worrying. No, Lord Su has a fiancé from childhood. I hear the wedding is near. I secretly smiled, feeling happy inside. They were right, the marriage between Su Mufeng and me was arranged when I was 9. Back then, Su Mufeng liked me a lot and always called me Yingying affectionately. The elders of the Su family also said that Yingying was the fastest at crafting traditional silk knots. The most skillful with needlework, beautiful, and clever. They wanted to betroth her to Su Mufeng early, so no one else could take her away. Su Mufeng always cared for me, letting me fly the prettiest kite first. And giving me the first ripe green plum from the courtyard. So, even the bowl of poison-sweet soup was something I drank for him first. I don't really remember what that soup tasted like anymore. I only remember waking up to the doctor sighing and shaking his head, saying I might be foolish for life. I was only 9 then and didn't understand what being foolish for life meant. Looking at the small green plums among the branches, I clutched the unfinished knot in my hand, lowered my head, and tried hard to think. For life? Was it the for life Su Mufeng mentioned the other day, the one about being together for life? The Su family elders felt guilty and compensated the Xu family with a lot of silver notes. Also arranging the marriage between Su Mufeng and me as compensation. They said that when I turned 16, Su Mufeng would marry me. And he wasn't allowed to take concubines to prevent anyone from bullying me in the future. Su Mufeng held my hand tightly, his eyes full of pity. When Yingying turns 16, I'll marry you. So I waited and waited until the green plums outside the door ripened 7 times. 2 years ago, I excitedly ran to tell Su Mufeng that I was 16 and could be married now. That day, Su Mufeng was waiting for friends to drink and admire flowers. He looked at me with disgust. It's 16 years, you remembered wrong, fool. When that esteemed guest entered, Su Mufeng didn't even want to spare me another glance. His words full of regret. Senior Su, I truly envy you. Your fiancé is gentle, learned, and well-matched with you. I sat on the big stone in the courtyard, thinking hard for a long time. I wanted to say, Su Mufeng, it's not Yingying who remembered wrong, it's you. But it's okay, Yingying isn't like you, with so many friends to see and so many things to do. Yingying has no friends, and besides making knots, there's nothing else she can do. So waiting another 16 years is okay. Yingying has plenty of time, all of which can be spent waiting for you. Just like every time we moved, you always said Yingying was stupid and that bringing her along was troublesome. So this time, I left first. Will you think Yingying has become smarter? Will you think Yingying isn't that troublesome after all? The more I thought about it, the happier I became. From afar, I heard the joyful sounds of a wedding procession. It was a festively decorated wedding boat. Look! Speak of the devil! The laborers shouted joyfully, asking for some wedding candies and fruits to share in the happiness. As the boats drew closer, the wedding attendants handed out candies to everyone, creating a cheerful atmosphere. Only the bride, veiled in red, sat in the corner with her head down, her skirt on her knees soaked. No one comforted her, and I felt a bit sorry for her, so I leaned over and quietly asked, "Miss, getting married is such a happy occasion, why are you crying?" The bride ignored me. I rummaged through my small floral bundle and pulled out a love knot I made on the road that afternoon. "I'll give this to you, so don't cry." Seeing the love knot, the bride cried even harder. I don't want to marry him." What should be done then?" The bride sobbed and wiped her tears, speaking unclearly. "Let me tell you the truth, I'm not Lord Su's fiancé. His fiancée ran away, and the clan leader asked me to take her place. You all think I'm ungrateful, Lord Su in City X, young and promising, with a bright future ahead. But has anyone asked if I have someone in my heart? Wait! That's not right. Lord Su in City X is my fiancé. You don't need to cry. It's me marrying Lord Su. The runaway fiancé was me." The bride stopped crying and looked at me in a daze. I seriously explained to her that the marriage was arranged when I was 9. And I traveled alone by boat because I feared Lord Su would find me foolish. This boat is heading to City X, and I'm going to find him. Besides, I like Lord Su so much, how could I run away from the marriage? The bride smiled through her tears and nodded vigorously. Yes. Engaged at 9, Lord Su in City X. Exactly. The bride and I exchanged clothes, and she held my hand, thanking me profusely. I covered my face with the veil, waved my hand shyly. "Don't thank me, I almost caused you trouble. Don't cry, hurry and leave. When I see Lord Su, I'll have him speak to the clan leader." After several days of drifting on the water, I swayed in the wedding sedan chair. On the road to City X, the sounds of celebration were unending. My heart was sweet and I couldn't help but smile. Hee, how lively, it turns out Su Mufeng values marrying me so much. I got out of the wedding sedan chair and bowed to the heavens and earth with Su Mufeng. Sitting in the red tent, Su Mufeng's figure was faintly visible through the veil. After not seeing him for a few days, he seemed to have grown taller. Under the bright lights, he took the weighing rod to lift the veil, and I nervously clutched my dress on my knees. Suddenly, I heard a report from outside. "Lord! My lord, something's wrong. The dam at the mouth has burst." The incident happened suddenly, and Su Mufeng didn't even have time to change out of his wedding clothes before rushing out the door. He left in such a hurry that he remembered today was our wedding night. "I'm sorry, my lady, please go to bed first. Don't wait for me." Sigh, even his voice was deeper than usual. It seems being an official in City X is really tough. Afraid he would feel guilty, I quickly shouted. It's okay today, and it won't matter tomorrow either, no rush. I'll always be at home waiting for you to come back." "It's okay, Su Mufeng, I'm already used to waiting for you." Over there, Su Mufeng's silhouette paused, seemingly letting out a soft laugh. "All right, with my lady waiting for me, I'll return as soon as I can." I was worried when I went to report, thinking Lord Su would leave his wife on their wedding night and she would be angry. The accompanying official couldn't help but tease, "Lord Su, it seems you married a very understanding wife." I removed the veil and prepared to sleep. The maid beside me cautiously smiled. "Lord Su is busy with state affairs, madam, please don't be angry." "I'm not angry. What's there to be angry about?" I waved my hand. "If the dam breaks, many people would drown, that would be bad." Su Mufeng didn't return late at night, only sending a message through a servant in the middle of the night, asking me to pack some clothes to send in the morning. Opening the wardrobe, I realized after a few days, Su Mufeng's clothes had become quite worn. And some were torn without being mended. Having slept on the road for several days and listening to the sounds of celebration, I also felt drowsy. I simply sat up and took a needle and thread, carefully mending the clothes under the lamp. In the past, Su Mufeng always praised my needlework, saying the knots I made were bright and delicate, chasing after me to ask for them. But later, as the Su family became wealthier, there were endless embroiderers and maids at home. And Su Mufeng no longer wore the knots I made, nor allowed me to touch his clothes. Now, as his bride, I can help him again, and I am truly happy. I mended every part meticulously and even embroidered 2 small fireflies on the cuffs. As dawn broke, I fell asleep holding the clothes in my arms. In my drowsy sleep, it seemed like someone sat by the bed watching me for a long time. He didn't wake me, only tucked the quilt over my shoulder before he left, gently stroking my head. I heard the door softly close and Su Mufeng's voice instructing the maid outside. Grandmother will arrive tomorrow afternoon. You are used to serving by her side and know her temper is not good. Help say some good words for my lady, don't let grandmother trouble her. Miss Ying has gone missing. When the maid Xiaoyao hurriedly reported this, Su Mufeng didn't even lift his head and impatiently interrupted Xiaoyao. What is it this time? Is it that the plum blossoms in the courtyard have bloomed and she wants me to see them? Or has she made a new knot and wants me to try it? Tell her to stop making up stories. I don't have time to play along with her. Su Mufeng has been very busy lately. He is about to take office in City S and is preparing to deal with his colleagues. He heard that his classmate from City X, Senior Su Yanqing, got married. Su Yanqing had helped him many times and was a mentor to him. Now that it's Su Yanqing's big day, Su Mufeng wants to prepare a grand gift for the couple and personally visit to congratulate them. By the time he finished his paperwork, it was already dark. After dinner, when the cooks cleared the dishes, Yingying's seat remained empty. Su Mufeng coldly ordered, "If she doesn't eat, let her go hungry. Don't save any food for her." The maids, seeing Xiaoyao punished before, dared not speak. In the middle of the night, a breeze arose, and the spring wind outside still carried a chill, swaying the plum branches outside the study. Su Mufeng raised his hand to close the window but saw the small plum fruits gently swaying, looking cute and appealing. He suddenly remembered when he was young and fell, injuring himself, trying to pick the largest plum for Yingying. Seeing him hurt, Yingying's eyes filled with tears, which made his heart ache. Back then, he feared pain and blood but feared Yingying's tears more. Don't cry, Yingying. It doesn't hurt, not at all. I fell on purpose so you could mend my clothes and even embroider fireflies on them. When did that heartache turn into impatience? Oh yes, it was later, when his father's concubine poisoned his soup, and Yingying drank it for him. At first, he was heartbroken and guilty, staying by her side every day, picking flowers for her like before, flying kites together. As time passed, Su Mufeng became very busy. He had to study, make friends, and realized there were many good girls in the world, and Yingying wasn't the prettiest. He grew to an age where climbing trees was embarrassing, and flying kites would be laughed at. But Yingying could never become smart or grow up. Suddenly, Su Mufeng felt a pang in his heart, and his tone softened. She's been hungry for so long, she should know she's wrong. Xiaoyao, have the kitchen make a bowl of sweet soup and send it over. Xiaoyao cried and knelt. Lord, forgive me. Miss Yingying went missing yesterday. The maids knelt, looking at each other. Wasn't their master always dismissive of this silly fiancé? Why is he now so anxious, almost turning the city upside down? A clever servant speculated that the master made a big show of searching to avoid gossip, pretending in front of outsiders. My lord, there's nothing we can do. We've tried our best. The Zhu family has more daughters than just Miss Zhu Yingying. Now that your career is flourishing, they wouldn't blame you. They might even hope for a smarter daughter. The servant knelt, unable to finish before Su Mufeng kicked him hard in the chest. For the first time, the master had a dark expression, and a brave servant cautiously asked, could she have been kidnapped, taken to a casino, or worse, a whoreho? Su Mufeng knew what the servant dared not say. A whorehouse. Yes, it happened before. 2 years ago, he was waiting for Su Yanqing to drink and enjoy the flowers. Zhu Yingying said she was 16 and asked when he would marry her. It's 16 years, not 16 years old, you fool. Thinking back, those words were hurtful, and Yingying sat sadly on the stone in the backyard for a long time. In the backyard, an old woman disguised as a candy seller coaxed Yingying to go with her. Fortunately, Su Yanqing noticed in time and informed him. When he found them, the old woman was pulling Yingying at the entrance of whorehouse. He tried to pull Yingying back, but she wouldn't listen, insisting on going with the woman. That night, he was furious, calling her a fool. asking how she could be so stupid and greedy, following someone for 2 pieces of candy. Ying's eyes reddened as she hurried to defend herself. "No, I'm not greedy. The old woman said she had smart medicine, so I went with her." She lowered her head, constantly wiping her tears, but they wouldn't stop. "I just wants to be smart." During the days Ying was missing, Su Mufeng often dreamed of her. Dreamed of asking her for a love knot, promising a lifetime together. The sad figure on the stone in the backyard and that tear-streaked face. Also dreamed of himself at 12, falling from the plum tree and injuring himself, asking, "Then what? Did Su Mufeng marry Zhu Ying? What did your children look like you or her?" Su Mufeng awoke with a start, just as the moon rose. Outside, sparse stars and a waning moon, a silent night, only the wind through the plum branches. Lord Su. A servant hurriedly reported. Su Mufeng couldn't hide his joy but pretended to cough lightly. "Tell her not to be afraid. I won't scold her. Have the kitchen quickly prepare some food. The weather's been cold these days. Have the maids light the warmers so she doesn't catch a chill." After thinking for a moment, Su Mufeng smiled slightly. "Also, tell her I'll take her to look at dresses tomorrow and set the wedding date." After saying this, a sudden gust of wind blew, clearing his mind like clouds parting to reveal the moon. Yes, he should have married her long ago. Yes, Su Mufeng was always meant to marry Zhu Ying. "It's not about missing Ying." The servant looked troubled. "Didn't you order a wedding gift for Lord Su in City X? Manager Lee has prepared it and sent it urgently for you to see." The intricately carved redwood box opened. Inside was a jade pendant, wishing them a deep and loving relationship for 100 years. Alongside it, a small golden lock for longevity, wishing them many children and a prosperous family. As long as the dam isn't repaired, Su Mufeng won't return. Yesterday, the lady mended some clothes, and the lord kept looking at them, reluctant to wear them. Wenlan, the maid, teased me while doing my hair. Lord Zhao and the others even joked with him, saying the lady is so virtuous that it makes them want to settle down soon too. Hearing this made me very happy, and I instructed Wenlan to buy some good fabric and thread in the afternoon, as I wanted to make a few more outfits for Su Mufeng. As we were speaking, the servant Shuqi came to deliver a message. My lord said he feels sorry for the lady these days and asked if there's anything she wants to wear or use. I thought for a moment and pointed to the backyard. "I don't need anything to wear or use, that would cost a lot of money. The backyard is bare, it would be nice to plant a plum tree." I also remembered the swing Su Mufeng had angrily cut down before, and I cautiously added, If possible, I'd like a swing too. I'll just sit on it. I won't be noisy. If it's not possible, that's okay too. I'm just asking." But Su Mufeng had become so much better after our marriage that by the afternoon, someone had come to plant a tree and set up a swing. I was sitting by the window cutting fabric when I suddenly heard a commotion outside. She's just become the madam, and she's already putting on airs? Demanding fine silk on her first day? Will she want to wear gold and silver tomorrow? When the engagement was set, she looked down on our family for being small and insignificant. But now that our boy has made something of himself, she's rushed to marry him. I put down my needle and thread and peeked out to see. Wenlan was supporting an old lady, smiling constantly beside her. "Old madam, the lady isn't like that. She wanted the fabric and thread." "Wenlan, shut up." As soon as the old lady spoke, Wenlan dared not say more. I guess this must be Su Mufeng's grandmother. She had always been recuperating at the estate, so I hadn't met her, but I knew she was a good person. She would give Su Mufeng a large amount of money for gift, and I even received a share. That money was enough for me to buy sugar figures from New Year's Day to lanterns at the Lantern Festival. She would stand up for me and order the Su family elders to set my engagement with Su Mufeng early. Grandmother was very kind to Ying, and Ying had always wanted to thank her. "Grandma." I quickly put down my work and affectionately went to hold Grandma's arm, but she shook me off. "Don't give me that. That might work on the boy, but not on an old woman like me." Grandma turned her head away in disgust and slowly sat by the window. She glanced around, her eyes landing on the fabric I was cutting, and sneered. Just one day after entering the house, and you're already thinking about wearing and using the best? Yes. I nodded happily. Not only to wear nice clothes, but I also want to make beautiful silk knots to wear. Yes, I was thinking about making nice clothes for Su Mufeng and beautiful silk knots for him to wear. Hearing this, Grandma angrily slammed the teacup down and pointed at me. You. I'll make you a set too. I eagerly spread out the fabric. But Grandma, your clothes will have to wait until I finish Lord Sue's, and then I'll make yours right away. Grandma was taken aback, her face showing a bit of embarrassment. This clothing is for the boy? Not for you? I nodded. Ahem. Grandma pretended to be calm, took a sip of water, and her gaze fell on the backyard again. She snorted coldly. So, you told the boy to build a garden? Do you know how much it costs to build a garden? It's a waste of money and labor. If the censor reports the boy. I just wanted a swing. Just a swing? Yes. I nodded and quickly asked. Grandma, do you like swinging? Ying can push you. Ying pushes really fast. It seemed Grandma didn't like swinging because she didn't respond. Not fond of swinging. How about catching butterflies, kicking shuttlecocks, or climbing plum trees? If not, Grandma, you can push Ying, and Ying will catch butterflies and pick fruits for you. Wenlan lowered her head deeply, but I saw it. She was trying hard not to laugh. But it seemed Grandma didn't like catching butterflies, and she liked climbing plum trees even less. Because Grandma took a deep breath, threw down a sentence, and stormed off. Why do you call him Lord like everyone else after getting married? No virtue. You should call him husband. After Grandma left, I looked uneasily at Wenlan. Is Grandma angry with me? Wenlan just shook her head with a smile. The lady is skillful and virtuous, the old lady can't find any fault with you. I then relaxed and continued with my work. After closing the door, the maid Winnie hesitantly asked Wenlan. Isn't it said that the lady is a famous talented woman in the area? Why do I feel like Our Lady seems not quite right in the head, can't put my finger on it. The dowry isn't lacking, but you see, the lady doesn't even wear her jewelry. And the fabric for her clothes doesn't seem to be of good quality. Wenlan's face turned cold. Is the master someone we can discuss? Besides, you know the old lady's temper. The lady is just playing dumb to deal with it. Don't think I don't know who told the old lady about the lady building a garden and buying silk. Winnie, I advise you to mind your own business. You know the Lord doesn't want a concubine or a mistress. Winnie sulkily closed her mouth but wasn't entirely convinced. She glanced into the room many times, secretly keeping an eye out. On the third afternoon, while Wenlan went out to buy thread for me, Winnie brought 2 servant women in. The servant women opened a box, revealing a box full of jewelry and a thick stack of silver notes underneath. I heard the lady wants to build a garden. This is a tribute from the officials below. But there's a small favor to ask the lady, to say a few words to Lord Su. Usually, Su Mufeng wouldn't allow me into his study, nor let me talk to those officials and attendants. He said I was stupid and would only mess things up. But now that I'm his wife, it's naturally different from before, so I quickly nodded. What is it? Does my husband know? Seeing me nod, Winnie slightly curled her lips. Just a small matter, a foolish woman wants to accuse her husband of attempted murder. The servant woman smiled obsequiously. That foolish woman didn't die, just had her voice poisoned mute, and she's weak and powerless, can't stir up any trouble. The lady is a smart person, take it. Does taking this make me a smart person? Looking at that thick stack of silver notes, I thought it could buy a lot of gold thread and fine silk. Xianqing had been so busy these past few days that he hadn't returned home. And he was initially worried that his grandmother might not like Ying. However, the servants informed him that his grandmother was quite pleased with Ying, though she complained when sending messages to him. On the first day, as soon as his grandmother disembarked from the boat, she grumbled. I've never liked the opportunistic Shui family, you should divorce her quickly. By the 4th day, he heard that his wife visited his grandmother's room every day, chatting endlessly. Your wife is like a little sparrow, chirping non-stop. It's so noisy, I don't want to deal with her. On the 5th day, the message from his grandmother was delayed for quite some time. She does have skillful hands. By the 6th day, there were suddenly no more messages. Su Yanqing sent someone to inquire, but his grandmother said, "This is between us women, why is a grown man like you always prying?" Su Yanqing smiled helplessly, finally feeling at ease. Recently, he had been busy repairing the dikes and settling disaster victims. And he hadn't had time to open the letter from his old classmate Su Mufeng, which had arrived a month ago. Today, he finally took a break during a meal to open it and read the part where Su Mufeng asked, "If you was forced to marry a woman you didn't love, and that woman was foolish and dull, but the childhood engagement couldn't be broken, what would you do?" Before he could think about how to respond, the curtain was suddenly lifted. The visitor, covered in dust, was none other than his old friend Su Mufeng. "Perfect timing, I haven't figured out how to reply yet." Su Yanqing laughed and said, "As expected of a new official, you've become much more haggard from all the work." Su Mufeng found it hard to explain that his haggard appearance was from frantically searching for Ying these past few days. "Look, Shuqi, he's not even aware of his torn sleeve, typical of someone who's not married." Knowing the friendship between the two, the servant Shuqi thoughtfully brought Su Yanqing a change of clothes. "These clothes were made by my wife, wear them carefully and remember to have them washed and returned." Su Mufeng took the clothes, about to tease him for being stingy, when he suddenly noticed the letter in Su Yanqing's hand. "Don't bother reading that letter, it's full of nonsense." Su Mufeng waved his hand, took out a redwood box from his bosom, and placed it on the table with a wry smile. "This gift isn't expensive, just a piece of jade and a gold lock, to congratulate you and your wife on your wedding. I bought it with my own salary, so don't be too hard on your friend. To be honest, I don't know how to respond to you either." Thinking of his wedding night, when his wife fell asleep holding his clothes, Su Yanqing couldn't help but smile. "Like you, I was also engaged since childhood, and I had my concerns. But after the wedding, to say something you might laugh at, I truly regret it." "Regret what?" "Regret being so stubborn about waiting for the wedding date, regret not marrying her sooner." "You rascal!" Su Mufeng playfully punched Su Yanqing's shoulder. "You're really lucky. I've heard all along the way that you left your wife on your wedding night. And she's so virtuous that she didn't argue with you and even sewed your clothes overnight to bring to you. You don't know how envious I am. Now that my matters are mostly settled, at least come to my house for a warm drink. And greet my wife before leaving." Su Mufeng couldn't refuse. The willow embankment was shrouded in mist, with spring sunshine gently warming the air, and the chilly breeze invigorated the spirit. Passing by a tavern, they bought a jug of winter brew, just like when they were young and bought wine to travel together. Before reaching the front hall, they heard the laughter of girls from the backyard, clear as a yellow warbler, bringing a smile to one's face. Su Yanqing laughed and said, "The new bride is playful, with a child's heart, please forgive her." Though he spoke of forgiveness, his eyes were full of affection. Passing through the winding corridor, they caught a glimpse of a figure in a light yellow dress under the swing, like a fresh cluster of forsythia flowers, catching the eye. That laughter and figure reminded Su Mufeng of Ying, who used to love playing in the backyard with the maids, either on the swing or flying kites. But when guests heard and inquired, he always felt embarrassed. So he had Ying's swing chopped down, and the maids who played with her were fined half a month's wages. Since then, it had been much quieter, and not only did no one play, but no maid dared to speak to Ying. The Su household was as quiet as he wished. Ying, without playmates, rarely laughed anymore. Often, she would sit dazed on a rock all day, watching the little fish in the water and the geese in the sky. But in winter, the lake would freeze, and the geese would fly south. When there was nothing to watch, she still sat there. No one knew, nor was anyone curious about what she was watching or thinking. Now, hearing that laughter, Su Mufeng felt as if his heart was being squeezed, aching so much he couldn't speak. It's okay, once he found Ying, he would make her an even better swing and find a group of obedient and gentle maids to play with her. He would cherish Ying just like Su Yanqing cherished his wife, never restraining her. In the front hall, Wan Lan looked a bit troubled. I've already informed her, but the lady said she's busy and has no time for guests. What's she busy with? The lady is busy making grass bunnies, and she said she'll make one for you too. Tell her not to trouble herself, but for mine, the bunny ears should be bigger. Su Yanqing nodded seriously. Taking a gulp of the winter brew, Su Mufeng felt a pang of envy. Yanqing, your deep affection with your wife truly makes me envious. Su Yanqing thought of Su Mufeng's fiancé. He had met her once. That was 2 years ago when he went to the Su house for tea, and saw a frail figure sitting on a large rock in the courtyard. She wore a faded bean green dress, sitting dazedly on the rock watching the fish in the water, letting flowers fall on her dress and hair without brushing them off. It was early spring, still a bit chilly, and sitting on the rock like that might make her sick. But Su Yanqing didn't know who she was. And as a female member of the household, it wasn't appropriate for him to ask. She kept her head down, likely troubled by something. But among the many maids and servants coming and going, not one went to comfort her. Later, during a moment of drinking and flower viewing, Su Yanqing casually mentioned it. And Su Mufeng embarrassedly laughed and said that she was his foolish fiancé. There was nothing funny about it. Su Yanqing only felt sorry for the girl, a bit sad for her. It was also when he left the Su house and saw that bean green figure again, foolishly following an old woman to the whorehouse. He couldn't really distinguish the clothing and accessories of young women, but for some reason, he recognized her at a glance in the crowd that time. After telling Su Mufeng, he quickly made an excuse to leave, fearing to embarrass his friend. To say they had met once seemed a bit forced. It was more like he had only seen her back twice. Thinking of her, Su Yanqing felt compassion and thought of pleading for that poor girl. If you're envious, marry her soon and bring her home. Before leaving, on the carriage, Su Mufeng lifted the curtain, his voice bitter. I want to, but the world is unpredictable. Yanqing, I regret not listening to you 2 years ago and marrying her sooner. As the carriage was about to depart, he vaguely heard a sweet voice calling husband from the courtyard. That call stirred something in Su Mufeng's heart. He could almost imagine it was a pampered woman, cherished by her husband. In the thin spring attire, she gracefully jumped off the swing, joyfully leaping into Yanqing's arms, coquettishly asking if the bunny she made was pretty. Su Yanqing gently wiped the sweat from her brow, awkwardly saying that neither bunny was as pretty as she was. The woman turned around, and it was Ying's face. With a rumble of thunder, Su Mufeng awoke with a start. The driver saying they were nearing the post station, and it looked like rain. He shook his head with a wry smile, thinking he must be exhausted to have dreamt such a dream. How could Su Yanqing's wife possibly be Ying? The Lord is back. When Lan told me that the dike repairs were finished, and the Lord Su would have a long vacation to spend the entire spring with me. I was so overjoyed that when I saw him return, I jumped off the swing and eagerly leapt into his arms. Su Mufeng caught me entirely, gently patting my head. I was just about to show him the little bunny and ask if it looked good when I was dumbfounded. Husband, who are you? Outside, the rain poured down heavily, while inside, the candlelight flickered softly, illuminating Lord Su's gentle eyes. So that's how it is. Lord Su smiled. I was initially puzzled because that lady from the Chui family wasn't called Ying. I thought Ying was a nickname and didn't think much of it. The softer his voice, the more guilty and upset I felt. I had heard Su Mufeng mention that Lord Su, who was his superior and had been a great mentor to him, was a very good person. Such a good person, inexplicably, had his marriage disrupted by me. Su Mufeng was right. I only cause trouble and bring misfortune to those around me. Anyone who stays with me will have bad luck. In front of me were roasted lamb and duck, both of which I loved, but I couldn't eat a bite. I hugged a bowl of plain rice, feeling so guilty I was about to cry. Please don't blame Su Mufeng, it's all Ying's foolishness. You didn't do anything wrong. Ying made a mistake because she saw that girl crying so sadly, right? Lord Su placed a piece of roasted lamb into my bowl. I didn't want to marry the Chui girl anyway, and she didn't want to marry me either. Ying ended up helping both of us. I would rather he scolded me, or at least starved me as punishment, not allowing me to eat. But he just had to. Then let this bunny be my apology gift, okay? Seeing my eyes redden, Lord Su picked up the little bunny made of dogtail grass, its ears gently swaying under the lamp. Don't cry, no one blames you. Lord Su wanted to raise his hand to wipe my tears with his sleeve but thought better of it, and handed me a handkerchief instead. You should blame me, if Ying were smart, if I suddenly remembered the person when he brought in and quickly grabbed Lord Su's sleeve. I made another mistake. I told Lord Su about returning the gift. I'm sorry, so much money, and Ying Ying lost it. Hearing about when he bringing someone in and that the servant woman claimed Lord Su knew about it. His expression turned cold for a moment. I thought he was angry with me, so I lowered my voice. They said accepting the money would make me a smart person. Being a fool is hard work. Ying Ying really wants to be a smart person. But it's okay, Ying Ying is used to being a fool. But what about that madam? How sad must she be? At that moment, Lord Su was stunned, looking at me with eyes full of pity and emotion. Much like 12-year-old Su Mufeng. I wanted to plead for her, but Lord Su gently stopped me. Ying Ying did nothing wrong, not at all. I cautiously watched Lord Su's expression, and seeing he was still smiling, I felt a little relieved. The marriage had only lasted a short half-month. And it seemed all that needed to be said between husband and wife had been said. So, from now on, Ying Ying would no longer be Su Yanqing's wife but Su Mufeng's fiancé. Seeing me looking at him, Lord Su hesitated for a long time before speaking. Then I will write a letter and have someone deliver it to Su Mufeng. He will scold me. Both fell silent. Then Su Yanqing's eyes seemed to be burned by the candlelight. For some reason, my heart ached as well. The thoughts left behind were like a tangled mess of yarn in a bamboo basket. But no clear reason could be found to stay. Fortunately, a sudden clap of thunder erupted outside, and the rain poured down like a waterfall. It was as if the heavens were kind, providing an excuse for those who didn't want to leave and those who couldn't stay. Lord Su clung to this lifeline. Today the rain is heavy. If the rainwater soaks the letter, tomorrow I will write it. I quickly nodded. Yes. If the person delivering the letter gets soaked in the rain, they might fall ill. Suddenly, Shuqi came in to deliver a letter, overhearing part of the conversation. My lord, you forgot we have the finest oil paper, sealed with wax. It wouldn't rot even if soaked in the river for 3 days. Besides, we have excellent rain gear with straw raincoats. Shut up! Lord Su, not adept at lying, turned his head away in embarrassment. For some reason, an unspeakable joy and excitement filled my heart. Outside, the wind and rain were fierce, while inside, the candlelight was quiet. My lady, close the window a bit, or the wind will give you a headache again. Su Yanqing was writing official documents. In the letters he wrote to his grandmother, he habitually referred to me as his lady. So today when he called me my lady, he didn't even lift his head, as if we had been married for many years. The downpour outside was relentless, and I was reluctant to close the window, letting the damp air wash over me. I was afraid that if I didn't watch, the rain would stop. Perhaps because I fell asleep in the latter half of the night, the next day was a clear, cloudless day. And even the wind on my face was warm. Yet, neither Su Yanqing nor I mentioned the letter that was supposed to be written once the rain stopped. Even when he took me out, he brought an umbrella. Perhaps it will rain again, let's wait 3 more days. Yes, maybe it will rain again. Seeing that Lord Su and I were going out. Even the old maid from Grandma's room secretly slipped me a bag of silver coins for pocket money. Reminding Lord Su to take good care of me. Grandma said that I was simple and easy to deceive. And not to let anyone trick me with just 2 pieces of candy. Everyone here treated me well. Anyone who bullied Ying Ying would be driven out. Lord Su would say that Ying Ying was kind, and Grandma would praise Ying Ying for her good heart and skillful hands. No one here treated Ying Ying like a fool. The spring sunlight was pleasant, and the carriage swayed gently. Lifting the curtain, I watched as we moved farther away from the Su family, and my heart began to feel heavy. Husband, where are we going today? I nervously tugged at his sleeve, afraid he might send me back. Lord Su reached out to fasten my cloak, his eyes full of tenderness. We're going to find some smart medicine for Ying Ying. The scent of medicine lingered in the air at the clinic. I watched anxiously as the old man with white eyebrows furrowed his brow tighter and tighter, like a dead knot. It's okay if it can't be cured. Not wanting to trouble the old man, I quickly waved my hand. Ying Ying is used to it. Are you her husband? The old man with white eyebrows glared at Lord Su. This poison has been in her system for over 10 years. Why didn't you bring your wife to see me earlier? What kind of husband are you? Lord Su quickly took the blame. It's my negligence, sir. What about this illness? It's not that it can't be cured, it's just that it's been delayed too long, making it more troublesome to treat. How many doctors has your wife seen before? How much medicine has she taken? How did it get to this point? I slowly lowered my head. No, I hadn't seen any doctors, nor had I taken any medicine. When I was 9, the doctor from the Su family said that Ying would be foolish for life. The Su family gave my father some money, and Su Mufeng said he could marry me in the future. After that, no one cared about Ying's illness anymore. The doctor said to go to the clinic for acupuncture every day, take this medicine 3 times a day, and teach Ying more about speaking and doing things, and Ying will slowly become smarter. That's wonderful, Ying will become smart, and Grandma will be happy for Ying too. On the way home, the sky was filled with red clouds, like fire burning endlessly on the clouds. I had heard before that beautiful sunsets were a good time for long journeys. The sunset illuminated Lord Su's face, inexplicably causing me to shed tears again. Why am I crying for no reason? I should be happy. Happy that the sunset is beautiful. Happy that we found the smart medicine. Happy that my illness isn't so hard to cure after all. Why are you crying? Is the medicine too bitter? Or was the acupuncture too painful? Lord Su paused slightly, with a hint of hesitation. Or does Ying want to go back? The evening wind blew through the willows by the lake, and ripples appeared on the water. I stopped and looked up at Su Yanqing, my heart feeling like it had been pricked by bitter medicine, both sour and painful. From yesterday to today, Ying has been thinking. Why does the sky have to be clear? Why are you so good to Ying? Why am I not your wife? Why is it not you who promised to be with Ying for life? Why does the better he treats me, the more my tears fall? Su Yanqing was taken aback, gently wiping away my tears and tucking stray hair behind my ear. Because today Ying is going out to see the doctor, so the sky had to clear. Because Ying is a good girl, deserving of everyone's kindness. When it came to the topic of a wife, he paused too, smiling warmly. I also wish Ying was. But I'm afraid Ying doesn't understand what a lifelong promise means. A lifelong promise is more complicated than making clothes, weaving knots, or braiding rabbits. To pretend Ying understands when she doesn't is to take advantage of you. I don't know, I don't understand. But my heart is moved, my heart understands. My heart tells me to leap into his arms like I did from the swing that day, and mischievously call him husband. Hearing me muffledly call him husband, Su Yanqing's body stiffened. Yet he instinctively protected me, afraid the evening wind would chill me. In the distance, the sound of horse hooves approached. As if someone had been traveling day and night, rushing to get here. I heard a hoarse voice behind me, unable to hide the jealousy and anger. Zhu Ying! What did you call him? I turned around. The man reined in his horse and dismounted. It was Su Mufeng. He had traveled a long way, looking haggard and exhausted. In his hand, he tightly clutched the clothes I had made for Su Yanqing, his face looking worse than death. The clothes were embroidered with 2 fireflies. Zhu Ying, I've been looking for you for half a month, haven't had a good night's sleep. And you? You're here. Su Mufeng looked at Su Yanqing, suppressing his anger, and reached out to me. Come here. I hid behind Su Yanqing, unwilling to look at him. Ying is a fool, it's not her fault. Su Mufeng said to himself. He quickly calmed down, thinking that with my mind, I couldn't have thought of leaving him. But Su Yanqing, I think you must explain to me why my fiancé is here with you. Before Su Yanqing could explain, I spoke up. It has nothing to do with my husband. It's me, Zhu Ying, who doesn't want to be your fiancé, Su Mufeng. Hearing me call Su Yanqing my husband, Su Mufeng looked incredulous. Ying, haven't you always wanted to marry me? Half a month isn't enough time to even get a cat or dog accustomed, and you're so determined to go with him? Yes, half a month isn't enough to get a cat or dog accustomed. But in this half a month, it's enough for me to understand 2 things. I looked at him steadily. Swinging won't get scolded, and my illness can also be cured. Hearing about the swing and my illness, Su Mufeng was stunned. You said you were worried about me, but when you see me, you still call me a fool. I didn't want to cry, but the tears wouldn't listen. Just like when you used to call me a fool and an idiot, I wasn't unable to understand, wasn't unable to feel sad. I understood every word, but understanding and feeling sad, what could it change? I still had to forgive you, because there was nowhere else to go. Su Mufeng was stunned, hesitating as he apologized. It was my fault, I shouldn't have called you that, but you shouldn't have run to someone else's house. He didn't know, he knew nothing. That day, when I went out alone, I was actually very scared. Scared people would see I was a fool, scared they would find me bothersome like you did. But no one cared about me, no one made things difficult for me. Some even praised the knots I made and gave me extra wedding candies. When I stuffed the wedding candies into my little floral bag, I even smugly thought, it turns out I'm not that bothersome. I wanted to go to City S to wait for you, but I got on the wrong boat. I was afraid the boatman would scold me for being stupid like you, so I didn't dare to ask carefully. I got on the wrong bridal sedan because I saw the bride crying so sadly, yet no one asked her. I felt very sorry for her. Seeing her, I thought of myself. Back at the Su family, when I sat on the stone crying. I wished someone would ask what I was thinking, why I was crying. But no one did, not even once. Ying, I already regret it. But if you think about it, if I were the one who was foolish, could you really be good to me for a lifetime? Su Mufeng questioned me, would you? I would. Suddenly, tears streamed down my face. I would find you smart medicine, I would craft traditional silk knots to sell for money. I would always, always stay with you. Seeing my face full of tears, Su Mufeng was stunned. He even had red eyes, pleading to hold my hand. When we go back, I'll build a swing for you, and never find you noisy again. When we go back, we'll get married, and I'll take you to the clinic to see a doctor, we'll find the best physician. Didn't you promise to marry me when you was 9, you drank that bowl of sweet soup for me, you? I wiped my tears forcefully, shaking my head. I don't remember the taste of that sweet soup anymore. Su Mufeng, leave, I don't want you anymore, never again. Having said everything clearly, seeing my determination, Su Yanqing protected me behind him. Mufeng, treasures discarded in the market will naturally be picked up and cherished by others. Blame only yourself for being blind. The engagement between you and my wife, whether you want to sue or make a fuss, it's up to you. But we've known each other for years, you should know I have a habit of protecting my own. In the past, I always supported you in officialdom, and now it's the same for Ying. The year passed quickly. I learned many characters and made quite a few friends. That old doctor said Su Yanqing taught well. And if I continued taking bitter medicine for another half year, I would be completely cured. So, the wedding between Su Yanqing and me was set for the 3rd year of the beginning of spring. Most of the wedding gifts Su Yanqing returned. Only 3 were kept, saying they were specially sent for me. 2 were from the young lady of the Chui family, and 1 was from Su Mufeng. I thought the box contained the marriage contract set when I was 9, but it turned out to be a letter. The letter spoke of many past events, each word filled with a sense of guilt and regret. Bringing up those old matters now, my eyes and heart remain calm. I heard Su Yanqing mention that after I left. The Su family introduced many young ladies to Su Mufeng, but he refused to see any of them. Every time this was mentioned, Su Yanqing was quite wary. He still refuses to marry, what is his intention? If you ask me, he should give up on you sooner rather than later. At the bottom of the box was a branch of plum blossom. Sent quickly by a fast horse, the fragrance still fresh when opened. But after several days of travel, the moment the flower was plucked from the branch, it was destined to wither. Su Yanqing pretended not to care, but kept glancing into the box. Seeing the plum blossom, he inexplicably got angry with the flowers and grass outside the window. If you like plums, tomorrow I'll get a gardener to pull out all the flowers and grass in the yard. Plant plum trees everywhere, so we can look at them in spring, eat them in summer. Brew them in autumn, and drink them in winter. I smiled and hugged his waist, sniffing the air. Hey, the plums aren't ripe, why do I smell something so sour? In the 3rd year of summer, it was time for me to get married. 3 letters and 6 ceremonies, each red invitation had my name on it. This time, the wedding dress was tailor-made, fitting perfectly. Grandmother took the tea I offered with a smile she couldn't hide. It seems the matchmaker did a good job, not a single detail was missing for this marriage. The red candles burned brightly, illuminating Su Yanqing's face. His eyebrows and eyes were so beautifully flushed that I shyly lowered my head. He lifted my chin, teasingly saying, "My lady, take a good look, don't mistake your husband again. If you call the wrong name, I will punish you."